afternoon, everybody. We are ready for our March 28th tree and garden.
April.
Sorry, April 28th.
25th.
Okay, let me get it together.
It's a good start.
April 25th, 2024, tree and garden meeting. Did everybody had a chance to go through our minutes of March 28th, 2024?
Yes. I think that's right.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes of March 28th, 2024?
I think that looks good.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes of March 28th, 24, as printed.
And I have to second? A second?
Yes. So we have a second. Thank you.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
New business? Okay, so we have the community flower grant.
You're reading the
That's
wrong.
not on that.
I'm reading the wrong,
Did you pick up the wrong?
this is what I picked up.
No, you're looking at your minutes, you're not looking at the agenda. The agenda looks like this.
Yeah. New business, replacing trees that have been cut down. And we have, somebody that would like to address, the tree and garden board, Alice McCoy. So,
Replacing trees that have been cut down is the first thing on the agenda.
okay,
So it's, the letter that y'all got from Lisa DeVito
yes,
is what was supposed to be discussed.
okay.
As far as replacing the trees.
Should we go one by one?
You don't have to.
Did everybody had a chance to read this? I read it too, and it was very interesting to know what's been going on and what we can do.
Pat, do you have anything to say on it?
May I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
May we hold that in place and let the visitors get on with and when we discuss, if you're going to discuss the papers that were presented by Ms. DeVito, doesn't really, it'll take a long time.
Okay.
So my suggestion and my want is to let the visitors, Alice and Mr. Dan, go first.
Sounds good.
That's fine. It's up to you. It's your
Yeah.
meeting.
So Ms. McCoy, if you wanna address us, or Dan? Ladies first.
I guess. I guess most of you know me. Alice McCoy, 315 North Summit Street. I'm with the Rotary and Dan's with Rotary also. And, back in the fall when we, came before the, commission to petition that they, designate Crescent City as a Monarch Butterfly USA city, and it was approved, and we did the proclamation, which has been sent to the Monarch City USA, and we have been accepted as a city. I have the signs ordered. Will be here I guess this afternoon, Thursday. They will be here, and we will have them this Saturday at the art, at spring thing at the park.
Spring Fest, yes.
Yeah, Spring Fest. We will have them there. We're gonna have a little tent and table and everything. And, our mission is to educate and help people in the community know what they need to do to help the monarch butterflies. Because they are an endangered species, they're very fragile. And there are certain things that really have to be done if we are going to help the monarchs. One of them is to educate and try to see that everybody plants the right native milkweeds. They have to have the native milkweeds, not the tropical, not the other ones. They have to be the native in order to do their cocoons and for the species to progress. There are other nectar plants that should be planted along with the native milkweeds, because the adult monarch butterflies do feed on other nectar plants, not just the native milkweed. And Monarch USA suggests that you have a combination of those plants in your garden so that they can be healthy and, eat those. So that's our mission. When I saw that you all had applied for a grant to
We haven't
do
applied for it.
butterfly garden. Beg your pardon?
We haven't applied for it.
You have. I realized that I needed to kind of step up. I hadn't really gone into that phase of it yet. And I needed to step up and see if we could somehow help in the selection of the place to put it, and how the Rotary might be able to participate with the Tree and Garden Board in accomplishing the right type of garden and, do whatever we could do. So I'm here because we kind of drove around and looked, and Dan represents the Audubon Society too, and we wanted to make sure we had some place that if we are going to spend the money and if we are going to make this effort to create a garden for the community, that it would be something that would be beneficial to, both the birds, the butterflies, bees, whatever, so that we could have a nice place for people to go and do the education part of it by doing plaques and something more permanent there to be able to educate the people and the families when they come through. We felt that the location that has the bird stand already there has the opportunity inside. It has the species of birds that you see and everything, but there is also room to do more of that type of display to explain plants and to explain, the butterfly and everything. So that's kind of why we felt that was a really good location, and it was sort of away from all of the hustle bustle at the beach, and there was trucks and cars parked everywhere down, it was very busy. And so this seemed to be a little bit more remote and able to be made more peaceful for the creatures, God's creatures. One of the other things I want to bring out, it's not only the plants that are planted. They cannot have pesticides, they cannot have anything, because that's so detrimental to any of the creatures, but especially the monarchs. I mean, it pretty much killed them immediately. So we have to make sure that there are no pesticides and that, the proper plants are planted. So, do you have any questions of anything that, I might be able to help with?
What is the Rotary's participation in the garden as far as?
We have already spent about $800 on this project between the signs and the application fee and everything. And the board has approved that amount of money to be spent. If, in fact, you don't get the grant to do the garden, there are grants available through the Rotary Foundation, but they have to be real specific. So it's not that you just say, hey, we want $15,000 to do a garden. I checked into it, and we would have to have a complete accounting of how the money would be spent, even down to if we're going to do repair or remodel that stand that's there, because it has rotten wood that really needs to be repaired before somebody falls through it. But if we're going to, say, to do the floor with a product that's recycled plastic or anything like that, we have to give them specifically how much that quote is, how much that's going to cost, who it will be purchased from, and the specifications of that product. So it's not something you can do spur of the moment, hey, I want this. We would have to really do dig into what those costs would be and how the money would be spent. And it is a matching grant. So if we ask Rotary for $5,000, we would have to also raise $5,000 locally to match it. It has to be a matching grant. So it's a little bit more complicated. The Rotary in Crescent City has been very busy over the years. We have done a large playground at the elementary school years ago. We did the new basketball floor at the high school. So we do undertake community projects. It's just, you have to know exactly what you're going to do and, how you're going to accomplish it. Does that answer your question?
It does, yes. But physical involvement, as far as maintenance, installation.
We might be able to help install plants or something like that, get a work group together of our guys and gals to do that. But as far as if it's on city property, it really needs to be maintained by the city. I don't think people should be responsible to go in and maintain the cities for all different reasons, but I think that's probably not something that the Rotary would want to commit to do, is, keep it weeded or trim the bushes or whatever. Questions you have about what you might want from us, I'll be happy to take it to the board and ask them. But as far as the consensus of what I understand at this point, we would not be committing to maintaining it. We might do some special work project once a year or and go in, and if plants have died, if plants need to be replaced, if there's, some problem at all with it, we might be able to help in that respect, but not on a day-to-day maintenance.
So actually, the Rotary, my understanding, is monetary obligation, that you would do grants and you would do the legal
And help guide
application.
and help guide that we make sure we have the right products in there. In other words, make sure that the plants are the proper plants. So we would love to be involved in the designing and the, planning of it.
Mhm.
And whatever implementation, it may be that however it comes out, that we need a work day or some people to come and help do something on a one-time basis, maybe plant plants or something. I think, our guys certainly might be willing to do something like that. When you all started, may I ask this, when you all started thinking about this garden?
That was me,
And it was-
because I'm part of the women's club, and I came to this town 2 years ago. I come from Deltona, and right in my neighborhood, the city had a community garden. I could walk a block and my whole neighborhood could use this garden. Yes, you had to pay to use the beds. And I came here to Crescent City, and then I'm part of the Tree and Garden Board. And I'm like, I am part of all these clubs, and I would like to unite them, especially the Tree and Garden, since we have garden in our title, but I don't see no gardens. I don't know the history of Crescent City. And apparently, this town, back in the day, had tons of gardens. We had flower shops where we sold our flowers, and it was a big community thing. Many gardeners, many flower shops, and we were very involved in the garden, and I'm like, where did it go? But I see remnants right there behind the women's club, and Miss Angela Tischler, that is 93 years old, was the first one to have it open, maintain it, but now she is old, and cannot take care of it. So that was my idea. Why don't we involve the Tree and Garden? I don't know how. It's just an idea that got in my mind. I'm part of the women's club. I'm gonna be the president of the library, and I wanna tie all of our clubs to work together, no division. I don't know whose idea is gonna be, but can we work together? So that was my idea, and it has grown to this. I just don't want division, Ms. McCoy. I just want us to work together, and together we can decide. If you don't like this side, let's look at another side. Who said we have to have only one garden? I am continuing with my dream. I'm having Angela Tischler on Monday to the ladies' garden in the back, and we're gonna work on it. It's my responsibility. They already told me, the ladies, it's my baby. So I'm gonna take care of it.
Very good. I just wondered when you did that, what your vision was, and that helps me.
My vision was to have something very zen, very tranquil, where you can have a couple of benches, where you can have, I've been to Sanford, I lived in Sanford 40 years, and the last time I was there, they also a monarch butterfly destination city, and they have a little corner, it's nothing big, it's 3 little beds. And then they have one of these stands with books where the kids can look at books and return them, and I said, that would be perfect to have it behind the women's club, to advertise the library, and maybe for the women's club and the library to have activities out there during the nice months with music, a cello, chairs, people enjoying dinner, we have a kitchen. So my vision was for this, for all these 3 institutions maybe to get together, the Tree, the women's club, and the library. But I talked to Dan, and Dan said, let's get everybody involved. And I said, even better.
So,
This has been going on, Alice, for, I wanna say probably about a year and a half.
so
And
I
then
guess
you
what
can-
I'm saying is, just kind of let me know what you need and what, how you all envision we work together.
And Miss Angela Tischler, she'll be there on Monday, and she's a stickler for native plants of Florida. She did not allow, I heard her history, she did not allow any other plants in that garden. So out of respect, I told her, you come and you point to me with your nurse, what we should keep and what we should get rid of it, because it's going on board. The city and the women's club cannot come to an agreement, so I'm gonna do my own thing.
I see.
The women's club had told us that, we could do it, we could have the community garden behind the blue house, the little blue house, if we had insurance, if we paid for the insurance on it. We can't get insurance on it because it's not our land. We've looked into it, the city's looked into it to see how much it would actually cost, for us to be able to put insurance on that. So, the insurance company had told us we'd have to go back to to the women's club and asked them if they would lease us the land. So rather than doing all of that, we decided we'd try, Cynthia and I decided, all right, well, let's just get this ball rolling and let's go down here. And it was the last minute when we decided, hey, we're Monarch Butterfly City, so why don't we incorporate that so we can spread the word that that's what we are now. And so we did. We were shot down the place, they didn't like where we had it. So Liz and I, Cynthia put in her resignation, so Liz and I went out last week, I think it was, and we went to Eva Lyons Park, and then we went to the Sunrise Park, and we came up with the idea from Sunrise Park. I withdrew the application, I didn't even bother sending it in, because I felt that, everybody was against it, so I just said, you know what, I'm not even gonna bother with it, and I still have it, and it was approved at the last meeting that I sent it in, but I felt like nobody really, I mean, Liz and I and.
Miss McCoy, I don't want no division with this garden. It makes me tear up that, you know, people are gonna fight over, it's not good here, it's good here. You know what? I'm gonna do it behind the women's club because I have their blessing. The only thing is that people doesn't know it's there. Only the neighbors that are there, they can see it, they're gonna see the difference. And you can go in there, it's not gonna be advertised, but it's gonna be there. I will take care of it in some of the women's club. And just start from there, because it doesn't mean we have to have only one park, we can have many gardens. I had a parent told me, why don't we plant flowers everywhere and put a flag garden, butterfly garden?
We do need to do that all through this city.
Yes, not one
That's part of
place.
what we need to do. Is there anything that I can do to help you, Karen, to go ahead and, I mean, it certainly wouldn't hurt to go ahead and send it in.
I mean, I could send it in if.
We just have to agree.
Do you have, I think we can agree, do you have,
I had taken out butterfly out of the whole thing, I took that completely out, so I can put it back in.
well, let me ask you this.
I just
don't-
didn't know what to do, so I just said,
Well, I'll
Put my
help you,
hands
I've
to it,
not done
so-
grants before, but let me ask you a question. Do you have to know the location before you send it in?
Yes.
You do.
Does it say
So,
that on
it's
the
a
website?
horticultural, grant. And what it is, it's just the first step. It's like, we have to get this letter in, and then if they approve that letter, then they send us the application. We're still not approved yet.
Okay,
Even if they approve that letter, that's the first step. If they approve that letter, then it goes to the next step, which they mail us the application. We have exactly 30 days to get it back in.
well, I can
From
help
the
you, I
time.
can help do that. I mean, it would be great if we could get that money to do the garden wherever you decide to
And
put it.
I just wanna make sure that the whole
I had to go.
board is on board, you know, and everybody's satisfied. You know, where are we gonna put it, or if they have other suggestion, I don't know how many suggestions we can enter. Should be only one, or can it be a couple?
Just one.
Just one. So Jean said she was at the website and she didn't see anything.
It didn't say that, when I looked at it about 5 or 6 times, it didn't say you had to say location.
Did you actually click on each one of those
Everything,
downfalls? Because I'm pretty sure.
except where it said to log in, because I don't have an account, so.
Yeah, see, when I logged in, because I'm on that step, so when I logged in, it had a drop down on, and then if you actually look up the LOI, what it means on that site to them, it says location, what type of garden, it has those steps right on there. So when I printed it out, I was like, okay, so this is what this letter has to contain. So that's why it was done where it was done, how it was done, the way it was done. Because it actually stated, this needs to be done, that needs to be done. So when it all comes together at the end of the letter, they can say, okay, well, they've answered all of our questions, each individual one. That's why they were all highlighted and in black. You know what I mean? That's why it was all done the way it is. And then we added the natural to the butterfly and natural nature garden, it was natural. And then I was like, well, Somebody's really happy with this. And, you know, and Liz and I mean, we've been talking about it since Liz joined the garden board, and it's been about 2 years. and-
Yeah. I came here looking for, where's the gardens, and they told me there was an African-American gentleman called Marcus that passed away, and that was his dream. And I'm like, it's the same game, Ms. McCoy, the same game for generations, only the players change. So maybe most likely this has been going on in the 20s, in the 30s, in the 40s. It's just our chance now to take over this and make it a reality again for our generation. Because in a couple of years, there'll be other players, not us. And that's what I wanna do as a tree and garden board, to leave something for the next generations that nobody's gonna tear down, and it will be there as a legacy for them.
It also has to be ADA compliant.
Well,
That is very important,
it-
according to that website. In order to do this, it has to be ADA compliant, so that's why the picture had concrete in between, and that's why we were using the actual walkway.
well, this location that I'm suggesting, the walkway is there, and it goes right through it. And, my suggestion is that we do a ramp up to the bird stand so that anybody in a wheelchair or whatever can get up to the bird stand. It's only like 2 steps, isn't it?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Or 4 or 5, anyway,
Yeah,
it's
little
several
steps.
steps.
Mhm.
But if you were going to put a new floor in that building, in that
In this building?
structure,
The bird, yeah,
the bird stand.
Is this the bird stand?
yeah,
Yeah.
Is that-
The bird watch.
That's the bird watch right here?
Yes,
the bird
because
watch.
some of the floorboards are rotten and needs to be fixed one way or the other. But if you were just going to replace, it looked like a pretty steady, building, structure. So if you just made sure that was safe and put that new floor out of, material made from recycled plastic bottles or something, it's not gonna rot then anymore. And
But won't it be slippery if it's wet?
I don't think so. I think they have it.
No.
No, I don't think it's slippery. But if you did your ramp up to it as part of your project, then that will be ADA compliant because the concrete goes right there.
Okay, so I understand what you're talking about, but, is the ground able to hold a ramp like that? And because when you do a ramp, you can't just do a ramp like this, you've gotta make it so it's compliant, so it's gotta come from like here, and it's gotta, like that ramp
When you
right
go,
there.
it would go all across the front.
So it would go all the way,
When I speak, I'll speak to the ramp issue.
okay,
I have
all
a
right.
lot of experience.
Okay, so that, yeah, I know that ramp, you have to take it for one step, so I can just imagine if it's 4 steps.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
I
won't
built a
have any
ramp that
trouble
we had
making
to
it
do for
ADA compliant, but Dan will talk to you about that.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that, if we need to do, pavers or something out from that concrete to take it into an area, it already has a picnic table, concrete picnic table there. And I'm like you, I want a couple benches, and so it can be a very serene area there. And it's right adjacent to where there's like a little inlet or something, what would you call that, ravine?
The swale, the
It's
ditch.
just a swell, outfall ditch.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of a natural barrier, natural end for it there. And it's in between the 2 concrete electrical things.
Poles, yeah.
Yes,
Okay, so
and
is
there's a
there,
large tree already, a healthy large tree
The
there.
tree by the picnic.
we were talking about that, Keith and I, now we'll have to get an irrigation system over there. So what are we looking at? Because that all has to be included in the price.
Well, that's what I mean, if you're gonna get that, if we're gonna get 25,000, that should be able to take care of that.
Yeah, exactly, but, I'm thinking like the grant actually has to have all these prices in it. Like, so if we need an irrigation system, the city's not gonna pay for an irrigation system,
No,
it's
they're
gonna have to
not.
come out of that grant. So this is where I'm asking Keith, how much you think an irrigation system would be in that area?
Can you bring it from the lake?
We'd have to put a pump in and we
A little
don't have,
pump.
we don't
Yeah,
have power there.
You said, you don't think.
I don't think St. John's allows that anymore. I mean, down in Orange County, they quit letting people pump out of lakes that lived on lakes.
Mhm.
So that would have to be addressed, I'm sure.
I'm sorry, but I was told that it is allowed still in
It
this
is
county.
allowed in
Yes,
Putnam.
yeah.
But what happens if all of a sudden they say no?
Okay,
But that's what I'm at, I'm just trying to get,
Well, let me ask you a question. What, this first process, the letter, do you have to have all those questions answered by that letter?
no, but when they send it back to me, we have exactly 30 days to get that back in, and
We can
it's
put
30
that
days
together.
that it's, you know,
We don't wanna
And
be
you have to
negative,
have-
Karen.
huh? What?
I said, we don't wanna be negative, Karen.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying
She's
30
stating
days
the
is
objectives that need to be achieved, that's all.
the stuff that needs to,
Happen.
that I've already been thinking about 2 months ago when we first started this, looking at places for a community, like stuff, okay, you can ask Keith, I've already asked him, how much is it gonna cost for
Yeah.
an irrigation system over here, I want a quote. I've already been over to Ace getting a quote for fertilizer, you know what I mean, stuff like that, because you're gonna, when you do this, you're gonna have to turn that sand. And you're gonna have to put fertilization in that sand to make it so that you can grow.
Well, we need to make sure whatever products go in there are totally natural products.
He has natural.
Edwin will. He has organic. Edwin as a Ace Hardware has organic
Organics, fertilizer.
fertilizer.
So it's.
Yes.
He sells both.
He sells both, but he gave me a price on it, so this is the stuff that I'm already thinking about
Right.
that, you know what I mean, so it's, and now we're talking, we're gonna need a contractor to build a ramp, you know, cause it has to be ADA compliant, so,
That's not hard to get a quote on that.
you know, so it's, you know, I'm just saying, because I know what the city goes through to try to get people out here to quote certain buildings, and, you know what I mean, to get a roof. You know, look at how long it took you to get just three quotes on.
Took me many months, there's no people available.
For painting, and then your roof, and then this, and then that, and then, it just, I know it's tough to get people out here, so.
I'm sure it is, but we can get the quotes. We can whip it together.
Okay.
I think if we are all in
I'll send it
one
in.
mind,
I have no problem with sending it in first thing tomorrow, I really don't. I mean, after the meeting, I can go and fix it up a little bit and then send it off.
I think that,
Could we check it before you send it to make sure it's?
Yep, it was already checked twice, it was
Yeah.
approved by this board and approved by the commission, so.
we want to be very clear and open with the public, you know, so there is no, because that's something I have noticed in this town, and it's part of being a small town, you know, we have many different people with different ideas, and we just want to be crystal clear to the whole community, we're trying to do something good. We're not underhanding or going behind nobody's back, and we want to do what is best. So, we start here, we open with everybody, and everybody is open, you know, this is what we're doing. We're not hiding anything, and I think we can go forward
I think it's.
and start from here. It might take some time, but we need to start somewhere.
Is everybody okay with the location that they have picked out?
I feel like we should have a workshop or something. I know this has to be turned in the beginning of June, but, that's just my opinion. That everybody's got ideas. I mean,
The ideas can hold off, I mean, what I'm saying, and what I'm asking is this the right place to have this? Because you all said no, that we don't really think that Lake Stella is the place to have this because it's
Conservation.
Thank you, conservation.
We don't want no drama later on. Let's get it all out here now.
Do we have a definition of when it's a conservation area, what are the requirements or the limitations on it? Does anybody have that?
No, but I bet I could.
I mean, if you're afraid of a conservation area, if we don't touch any of the plants there on the lake that are right behind the bird stand, but plant only nature, natural products that are natural plants that would be here anyway, it may still comply with your conservation area. I don't know what the limitations are.
Well, I think.
I can speak to that.
Okay.
Come on down, Dan.
Come on down.
Come on, Dan.
First of all, let me just state that, it should be butterfly and natural. I, at the last meeting, incorrectly said native,
Natural.
No, I think it's
Natural.
natural, I think you
You
said
said nature
natural.
garden.
nature garden.
Nature, yeah,
There we go. Thanks.
nature.
Okay. Secondly, I think that, we should stop stating getting along in disagreement. Because what we're doing is, we're all coming together with different ideas and coming up with a group, agreement. So I think we ought to take the negativity, the possibility of negativities out of the discussion. Because, we all want to get along, work together, and that's the way it is. It's going to be.
I just don't like the vibe when it's too negative.
Well, yes, but it doesn't help when you keep on bringing it up.
Because I keep seeing it,
What it
Dan.
does, it brings it,
I just keep seeing it, I don't work like that. I guess I come from a corporation.
I understand that, but it's better not to remind everyone of the past. Let's go forward. Secondly, I think it's very important that this garden be planted wisely, so in the future, it's gonna take the less possible maintenance.
Mhm.
And at our last meeting, Sean spoke of that and how that's achieved in a short order. So I think that's very important. As far as the ramp is concerned, yes, even going up for flights, it's going to take an elaborate, long system to reach that.
So you're talking like, I'm not talking like this.
Well, let me tell you, yes, yeah, I
You
mean,
have to
I've
literally
built many of
go
them.
out.
And, yeah, it's gonna be quite an ordeal, so we have to consider that. The other is that the new plastic decking has been used for, marine decking, boardwalk, it's ideal, particularly for long-term maintenance. And it's, it's not any more slippery than, wood, for that matter. So
Okay.
that shouldn't be a concern.
I'm sorry, I apologize, but I've never seen it, so that was a question that I had.
Oh, sure, no, I can understand, but I've replaced a dune,
I would hate to
Boardwalks
see somebody
with
go
it.
up there and go, whoop.
no, well, it's
Yeah.
actually much better.
Okay.
It has a rough texture.
Oh, it
Exactly.
does?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
I'll have to go and look at it.
You gotta go to the beach,
Yeah.
that's where you find it.
Okay.
yeah, that's right,
Okay.
yeah.
My question is the grant gonna pay for that, or is that something that the city's gonna be paying for?
No, the city can't pay for that. The city won't be able to pay for that.
Well,
That'll
so,
come out of the grant money.
so certainly it should
Yeah,
be, we should look into it, as an addition, if there's enough money to pay for it.
But the grant's I know the grant will allow, flowers and, the planting of flowers and the irrigation system, anything that is needed for that garden. But I don't
And
know.
an
if it's,
elevated viewing area may be,
I know,
maybe.
I don't even think they allow the benches, so we would have to go to different companies and ask them if they wanna
okay, so
get
that's
bench,
a
they wanna
challenge that we'll
donate the bench, you know what I mean? If you wanna
possibly
put,
have
like,
in the future.
yeah, for
Sure.
like, so say if we went to the Avalon Society and said, would you like to buy a bench for $200? They would get their plaque put on the bench that says, sponsored by the Audubon Society, which would be that bench that they, you know what I mean? So the benches, I don't even think it would cover benches, but there's no telling that what they will cover and what they won't cover.
So that's something we just need to explore.
Yeah.
And then if they don't take a second position, as you said, another funding source.
Yes. We definitely need another funding source to try for it. But, it's not a bad thing to go for $20,000, $25,000 and see what they come back with.
Well, that's right.
They could say, I'm sorry, you don't qualify, and then they'll tell us why. So then we can turn around and go, okay, let's put in another letter from this place, or.
Well, they may say,
Doing
okay,
something
we'll
else.
approve it, but just eliminate this and that, and you'll be all set.
So I mean, it's a hit or miss, I mean, I just happened to come across this one, so I was just like, oh, let's go ahead, I mean, it fit us, and after 4 hours of searching, I finally found something that would actually fit our thing, but it also is for a brand new garden. And then next year, we can apply, for a remake, so if some of the flowers had died, we can apply for the second grant for the second year, that's for $5,000 to redo some of the planting, or to add on to the garden to move it around, or to do whatever.
Terrific.
So it's not just a one-year grant. So year after year, you can apply for the same grant.
So are there any other questions or concerns?
I mean, I don't know, it's up to y'all. I'm just a city clerk.
Karen and I saw another spot that we like so much because it doesn't have all of this drama, and it's that
I
spot.
saw that. You shared that.
I think it's a beautiful spot, it's there with the sun, we can promote this boat. We can promote this boat ramp, because we're looking for this school, we want this school, and it will be right there.
I can understand all your positives, but let me tell you a big negative. We don't know what's gonna happen to that site.
No, I'm not being negative, I'm trying to.
No, I'm just telling you one of the downfalls of the site, I know you're not.
Mhm.
But I think we don't quite know what's gonna happen in the future with the long-range plan there.
Mhm.
You have the boating activity, you have the school, there may be a restaurant there, there may be needed a parking. What I would like to avoid is having to, do it again elsewhere because of the needs of that location. There's gonna be a lot going on there.
Mhm.
So I think in the long term, it may not succeed, and that's my biggest concern with it.
And like I said, we don't have to have it only in one place, we can have it in many places in town. Once we get going with the procedure, we know how to do it.
Excuse me, yes, but you've explained that.
Mhm.
So, I think that's a wonderful idea.
Okay.
So anyways, that's all I have to say now, but I'm sure when you discuss further the gardens, I think with Alice's agenda item, I'll add comment at that time.
It's nature garden, right? Not natural?
Yes, nature garden. I think were you calling it a butterfly and nature garden, is that what you were calling it?
Butterfly and natural gardens, but we can do nature. I'm
Nature
changing-
is the correct one, right?
Nature
Nature.
is the correct word, not
Yes.
natural.
Okay. Changing it now, and then I'll print it up, you guys can all, while you're here,
Thank you.
you guys can all see it, and then.
So I just wanna make sure that I'm clear with everybody in the town that me with the women's club and what I'm gonna do in the backyard of the women's club is not gonna cause any problems. Because if I decide to put a flag that says butterfly garden, I'm not gonna get in trouble with nobody, it's not a trademark. Will that be okay?
As far as I'm concerned, you can do whatever you want with the women's club, it has nothing to do with the three organizations that wanna have a butterfly natural garden, and I don't even think it should be considered part of us. It's your little baby, do it.
Thank you very much.
And good luck with it. Anything we can do to help you.
Thank you very much, that's all I wanna hear.
Now, what I wanna say is, everybody has an opinion, some of them are excellent, some I didn't even realize from before. Like a little bit of knowledge of nature. Now, we need a workshop. You need everybody together. Maybe not 20 people, but representatives, including Mr. Harris, and Karen, and Mr. Wood, if he's so available, to find out and figure out how smart we all are, how we can all do it, and come up with something that is amenable and helpful to all. It will take a long time. I don't understand about the grant. I think it's, the 30-day after is, my understanding is if you don't have it figured out before the 30 days, before you even get the grant, you'll never get it in time, because there are just too many variables here with different groups. They're trying to make one happy butterfly garden, nature, even throwing a tomato plant, I don't care. But you still need a consensus, and you still need a place. And if you can't do the grant, and you don't have time to do the grant, then I guess you're gonna table it till next year. Because if we don't have a meeting, what they call a workshop, if you don't have that figured out and get something in writing, something concrete, forget it. We'll just keep doing this and have another hour meeting for nothing. So, that's my suggestion, to table this conversation today, to schedule a workshop, limited amount of people, because the more you have in there, you're gonna have trouble. But at least the representatives from the 3 different
So in a
groups.
workshop, how are you talking about, like, from when you're saying a workshop, I know that you mean you want everybody to come together and workshop this, but isn't that what we're doing right now? But then we can vote on it, because in a workshop, you can't vote on it, you have to bring it back, so that's another month. So you're putting everything off. When you do a workshop, it's like you're putting everything off a month. So either you call it a special meeting, or you do it at a meeting. That's the only thing I can recommend to y'all, because you can't vote on anything, at a workshop.
I think if you call it a workshop, we can discuss things more than just in an hour meeting, right? If we're having a workshop, we can discuss,
You don't have to be here just for an hour, though, you can take as long as you want in the meeting.
well, they've been about an hour, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we only talk for probably 12 hours a year, which isn't a lot.
No, it's not.
No.
But see, you don't have to have it just an hour. Like if, I think everybody is here right now that you wanna have in a workshop, except for Charles Webb, but he is on the computer.
Pat's not here.
Oh, and Pat made it, yeah. But, it's up to you all.
So why don't we schedule it for next month, our last meeting? No?
Okay. I'm printing out the letters now, y'all. I just need to vote on that letter so I can get it out, because next month, it won't get it in time for June 1st. That's why it's important to get it out.
And maybe if we did it at a later time, maybe families could come if they wanted to have input in the community, you know?
You would
And
have
we
to
can
have
give them out.
You would have to have a night meeting for that, because a lot of people work.
Yeah, so I don't know if they agree on it, because like here, we have 2 residents at one, you know, a lot of people work, and we wanna do this for the whole community, parents and children,
So,
and all of those work. So I don't know if you guys agree on having it in a later time so more people can participate.
that's totally up to you. You guys gotta tell me when.
How long does it take for the grant to get approved?
I don't know. It doesn't say. It just says if you're approved on June 1st, you will get your grant package, and it has to be done by July 15th.
Okay, let's say go ahead and
I'm just gonna go
fill
ahead and
out,
put the
send it
letter.
off. When we get it, then come back and let's do the workshop and everybody start
I agree.
getting on the same page.
I agree. So that way.
There's no sense in doing a workshop if we don't get the money. I mean, if she's gonna do something at the women's club, that's fine. But I would say, let's make sure we get the money. Then by that time, the Rotary Club might be able to even pitch in money to go, like they said. And then we'll workshop it. Then there's no sense in doing it now. Because it's gonna all change.
So I think that's a great idea.
I think so too. I think
So
we should wait till
the
after.
question is, your next action, submittal, what do you need today?
I need an approval on this letter that I just redid. I'm printing it out now.
Do you need a location?
I have a location, I just put Lake Stella, Stella Lake.
All right.
I mean, if we change it, I don't think it's gonna be a big deal if we change it, so, but.
I think Pat still has a question, I'm not sure. I don't want to speak for you, but you want to be sure you got it clear.
The Winners Club Garden is not gonna get any money from the grant.
No, this is,
No.
no, we doing our own thing, but we wanna have a garden there.
However, the Audubon Society is interested in this project. The Audubon Society is interested in this project, and it may contribute financially. Obviously, I have to bring it back to the board for a vote, once we know what the need is. We also have the resources to give guidance on what type of plants and what's available. I also have experience in, about 40 years in planning on ocean conservation areas. So, I'm willing to help. And, certainly, contact, state and federal agencies if needed.
That's the letter, so if everybody can read it, I'll need an approval on the letter. Take your time, make sure it's right. If you have any changes, I can change it right now while it's up.
So my question that I had before is, if you submit this, then when you do your final submission a month later, and they say you can't change the location, and it's not been approved by St. John's Water Management District, how does that affect the grant? If you have to tell them where, that must mean they want you to do it there.
So the only thing that St. John's Water Management would have to step in, if they wouldn't have to step in, it's on,
It's conservation land, so
but it's conservation to a certain point, I think, right?
the whole parcel.
I mean, it's, the whole thing is conservation, but we don't have to, this is a garden. So
It's not like a
now if we're
building.
gonna like start digging, then yes. If we're gonna dig a pond
Mm-hmm.
or dig a ditch, yes, we're gonna have to go probably to them and we might not. But as far as this here, they don't have to say so.
You were looking up a minute ago what conservation,
Yes.
guidelines were.
Oh, and then my computer went, bang, so it was everywhere. But, I can always get that to you too, but I don't think it's gonna be, an issue with flowers. Cause you're just planting flowers, you're not really building a house.
Well, if you're gonna do a handicap ramp, of course, this bird viewing station was approved, I would hope, at some point in
Yeah,
time.
because I mean, it was approved because that's why it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if that's there, we can certainly put flowers there. I mean, four of the commissioners were happy with it being there. Because we had a 4-1 vote on it, so.
So can I ask you something? I just thought about it. So why we don't have right now a ramp for handicap?
I was surprised too.
I don't know, that was way before my time.
Okay,
Way before my time.
I'm just thinking,
That was built way before my time.
When was that built, Pete, do you know?
70s.
But see, you also gotta remember that ADA compliant wasn't,
Yeah,
Different laws.
wasn't into
it wasn't
that.
being pushed back then.
It wasn't being pushed back then by
Okay.
law, now it is.
Actually, Commissioner Jim Smith is the one that wanted that built. And then we built it there. Me and, my friend, we used to work here, Wayne, We're the ones that built that.
I hate to be naive, but at the gazebo, is there a handicap ramp?
It's all concrete.
So.
It's all ground
It's on level ground.
So the view could be enjoyed there,
As well.
handicap or not.
Mhm. I mean, back when we built the bird watching platform, they wasn't pushing the ADA compliant stuff.
Now, it's, everything has to be
Yeah,
ADA
everything
compliant.
has
The
to
fire
be.
marshal will not approve anything without it being ADA compliant.
And-
You know, it's just crazy.
And two, when we go to do it, all this goes through, when we go to do an ADA compliant ramp, we're gonna have to find somebody to draw some engineered drawings.
Yeah.
So that costs money too.
That's gonna cost a lot of money for an engineer drawing.
Yeah.
It's not somebody who you can just say, oh, can you build us a new drawing? No, it's gonna have to be
I
done.
mean, yes, it would be nice, so, you know, people
would
like BJ could go up there and
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 enjoy,
anybody else that's in a wheelchair, it would be nice.
or a blind person even, or, you know what I mean?
So I'm trying to understand, the grant requires it to be the
Okay, so the
ADA?
state requires
No,
everything to
but
be.
back to the grant, you said the grant
Grant, it-
requires it.
They didn't, yeah.
Or was
actually-
that Rotary requires?
No, it wasn't the Rotary that required it, but it was, the grant, I believe it said it had to be ADA compliant. Because it states in here, doesn't it state in somewhere in this letter that it would be ADA compliant?
Well, that's why the benefit of a civil engineer, they'll know the requirements and put them in.
I meant of the grant. She said the grant required it.
Sure. If they-
It's a state statute that everything that's being done now is ADA
Yeah.
compliant.
I'm
So a
pretty much,
garden,
Even a garden,
flower
but
garden.
if you, even if you're gonna put a flower garden in a community garden like that, it has to be ADA compliant, the state statute. That's why everything, you see the websites now, they're right off the get, it says ADA compliant. Like our website, I had to revamp the thing because it needed to be ADA compliant. I mean, that's why you go to school, that's why they put me through school, so I can learn all this stuff, but, what's this doing? But yeah, so is there anything on this letter that needs to be changed? Or,
pretty much anything that's built anymore that's provided to the public has to be ADA compliant, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
Anytime you refer to it, instead of natural, it needs to be nature.
okay.
There's
So
several
we
other
said-
locations.
I tried to do it,
There's several other locations that you have natural, it needs to be nature, but
okay. Pull it up, it's right here, so.
I think it would be nice when you do in here, about the sustainability or whatever, objectives.
Okay, wait a second, you gotta tell me which paragraph, I'm trying to pull it out, my computer's
Okay.
acting weird. Okay, so let's see, okay. Let me pull it up again. I don't know why my computer's doing that, but it's doing something. Okay, so where are you saying that it needs to be? Anybody else see that?
Expected outcomes, butterflies and natural gardens. Established.
Okay, where is that?
Second page, expected outcomes,
Oh, okay.
so you have natural.
It's on the it's
Okay.
also right there in the beginning.
Nature. Okay, so back to page 1,
Under project objectives,
project objectives, community,
butterfly,
nature garden.
so you changed it to nature?
It is nature. Oh, that one, natural garden, okay, so that would be nature. The headline was nature, that's
Okay,
what I was reading.
okay. Somewhere, and I'm not sure where you wanna put it, we wanna put in that because butterflies, monarch butterflies are an endangered species, we want to, you've got to promote growth of them, but we wanna promote to help them live.
Where are you looking? Because it would be on the, in that,
Expected outcomes, maybe?
no, where did I have the?
Somewhere in there, you have butterfly growth.
Let me stop because I can't find it. I'm trying to Okay, and seek comment for organizations who are fostering and urban. Support the community, momentum for coastal fund, Chicago. It's the street board. Agriculture and butterfly growth.
Maybe under
I
environmental.
got it right there, where, oh, come on, don't. Okay, where.
We want to promote the
Butterfly,
species, yeah.
butterfly and nature garden to promote sustainable agriculture and butterfly growth where the species is endangered.
Okay.
That work for you?
Yeah, I just wondered,
That's fine, no, it's okay in there.
okay.
And where it should be WHER. Okay.
Right, you're under,
Expected outcome?
where it says establishment of community food plus and.
She already had me corrected. Okay. Do you see anywhere, Dan, did you, relook at this letter? Anybody else see anything that they want changed on it?
I think it looks pretty good.
And Karen, I have no changes, thank you.
You have no changes, Dan?
No,
Okay,
nice job.
Yeah,
All right.
very nice letter.
Kate, do you have any changes to this?
No, man.
Okay. Pat, do you have any?
No.
No, you good? What about Jean? Jean, do you have any changes to this?
No.
Other than the ones that we've discussed? Liz,
I'm good.
everything good? Everybody's good? Okay, I need a motion. Finally,
I can't do that.
4 months. I need a motion.
I'm not going for it.
You're not, okay, can
No,
I?
she told me to make the motion, and I said I wasn't gonna make the motion, was all I said.
Okay, I make a motion that we, accept the letter that was presented by Ms. Hayes to be submitted to Stanley Smith for our grant as written.
Do we have a second?
You're not allowed to second.
I'm not allowed to second, that's what I'm saying, do we have a second?
Okay, no second?
Well,
You know, like,
I really don't want to vote, or, can I just sustain, okay, or whatever that word's called.
Well, if you don't second, then the
Then we
motion
can
dies.
extend it?
The motion dies if you don't second, so the motion will be dead. So the motion dies for lack of second. Okay, I guess
No. Sure.
Okay, so if nobody has anything to say,
you guys still gotta discuss the
oh, the loan thing.
replacing the trees.
May I make a comment?
Yes, please do.
I certainly like the idea of multiple gardens, but with any additional planning, I think that minimal care is certainly a huge advantage. We don't want to burden our people that staff that have to take care of it. They have enough to do as it is within the city. So I think that should be a goal. And I was very impressed with Sean who spoke at our last meeting, his knowledge.
Yes.
So, perhaps it's wise to invite him back at that time.
Well, I can't send this in without approval, so,
Well, further discussion of other possibilities.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are these all the members, or they just?
I don't want to be the Debbie Downer.
No, fine.
no, you
I'm
can,
with
it's okay.
And
It's
then,
okay, I mean,
Yeah.
so I just put it off for another year until we figure it out.
Yeah, we think about it.
But
Have we completed this being the butterfly garden?
Yeah.
Yes. So, before we, do a new business, the trees that we're taking down on Main Street, the, mulch was placed in the park. There's a big pile of it there. What's gonna happen to it?
I'm gonna spread it with some volunteers. I've already spread some of it.
When you gonna do it, Jean? So I can.
Yesterday.
It's okay.
No, it's not done all the way.
I just wanted to know.
Yeah. Anytime you wanna do it, you can do it.
Okay, just go
I don't
around,
have to be there.
I just don't know how to do it, just go around the tree.
When are you available?
I'm available Sunday.
That works for me. Okay.
Did any other trees come down, Mr. Harris?
Mhm.
Any other trees come down?
Just the two.
That's it. The other day I was driving around looking at some paperwork that was sent to us by Miss Lisa DeVito. And, I was down there on Spruce Street. And I turned around, I said, wait a minute, there's something I'm supposed to look at down here on Spruce Street. And I turned around and I took a picture of it. It's a gentleman who was, removing a palm tree. And they had ropes around it, and they were pulling it, and they were sawing at it and everything, so I just watched them, and then just in a split second, it went down with a big crash. It was obvious to me that, the tree was dying anyway, but there was no markings on the truck that was taking it away, and I just was wondering if he had a license or not, so I was just wondering about it. I just wanted people to be aware that there are people cutting down trees, but I don't know if they have a license.
Where was that, Spruce Avenue?
Spruce,
Okay. Because she has there on 11, when she sent that memo, something about spruce.
right, but it wasn't that tree. It was about an oak tree, which I didn't quite see.
Yeah, we took,
There's also a tree down there that we looked at many years ago, maybe 2 years ago, where the telephone pole is actually growing into the tree, the oak tree. It's really quite a mess, and the electric wires go right through the top of it, right there on the side. It's very precarious, it looks very, it looks threatening. So I don't know if that's the tree she was talking about, but we can discuss that another time. It just happens to be on Spruce if anybody wants to go and look at it.
Should we go down this list that she sent us? The 15 areas of concern?
Alright, sounds like here where she's highlighted it, that to look at the list, and then the city should, make in its budget recommendations for funding.
The one with the asterisk.
The middle of the first page, where she's got it highlighted. So it makes sense that the city could, or we could discuss the budget, and then after that, know what could be done if, depending on what the budget allows.
So I think this is very important for us to keep this, and that way we can go down the list to see what gets work and check it off.
I'm driving around looking at all the highlights that you have. There are many other dead trees. They're huge, old, beautiful, old oak trees in their day, I guess. But, I think they're on private property. So,
we've got a couple that we're gonna have to look at. One's on Park, that got hit by lightning around behind the school. It's dead. It was a live oak. And then there's one down at, Park in Eucalyptus. That's gonna have to be looked at. A big limb fell off of it. I think it's in pretty bad shape. And then there's one at the end of Magnolia in East Grand Rondo. they're not on this list, but it's a water oak, and I'm pretty sure it's hollow. It's in bad shape. I think it's got a broken top.
What was the first one you mentioned? I'm sorry, I didn't.
The one is, Park, right behind the elementary school.
Okay.
You can't miss it, it's dead. There's two of them right there together, playing, park in between them, or they used to. And then Park and Eucalyptus, there's a live oak. And then, which is the same block as BJ's, but you go all the way to the end.
Rhonda? Yeah, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find where BJ.
Number 6. Because part of the tree fell on his house. And then we they wanted to do a weight reduction on it, so we had to cut some limbs off the other tree. And then at the very end of the block is the one I'm talking about. It's a big water oak. I mean, as far as replanting trees, yes, it would be nice to replant them. We just really need to kind of pick spots, because Main Street has got, on the Lisa's side, we got sewer, gas, and then on the east side, on the Park side, we got water and a high voltage power line that's underground. So we really need to either plant trees in the park or.
Somewhere else.
Right, it's just, I hate to plant them where there's utilities, especially the sewer, because it's old.
Can't always put a tree where we think we need one, right?
Just everybody starts picking spots. I know when they got that big USDA grant or forestry grant way back in, I don't remember when it was, 2007 or 2008, I think it was. Miss Gaffney worked on it to help get it. They put a bunch of trees on top of the utilities. Some of them died. And then again, some of them that were planted, the homeowners killed them by pouring gas on them.
Oh, nice.
In the past, how much has the city had to spend on trees or shrubs?
Well, we usually, put in the budget, we used to put around 10,000, but I think it's down to 5 now.
Something like that, and that covers the maintenance of them too.
So do we know how much that is, so that we'll know how much is left to buy trees?
Yeah, but Charles knows that, he's working on the budget, that he has to put it in there.
I mean, if you get just say if you were to buy a 3 or 4 inch oak to put back in its place, put a nice tree, you're probably looking at $1,000 a piece. They get a lot of money for them trees. Especially, ones that are up in height. Now, the little ones are probably, I don't know, $50, $75 a piece.
So the tree garden budget is divided with the maintenance, the city's plant maintenance?
The tree and garden doesn't have a budget. It's, what is it called, what line is that called?
It's, well, it's a tree maintenance budget, but it's for basically put in there for removal of trees.
Yeah. In case if a tree comes down, we have to call somebody to come and take care of it.
And unfortunately, hurricane season is around the corner, so we have to watch what we spend the money on, which tree. Maybe nature will take care of it, huh?
Well, I mean, just like these
Some of
trees,
them are really bad.
these trees that we're gonna have to look at that's gonna need to come down, they'll wipe out the tree budget. And it, we'll probably have to move money out of something else into the tree budget to get them cut down, because they're big.
It costs a lot of money.
What about number 4, Keith? Shrubs? Is that something that is less inexpensive?
And you get shrubs or,
And maybe we can have shrubs that attract butterflies, like she suggested there,
mhm.
and start like that.
I mean, you could, at sunrise on number 4, yeah, you probably could plant some, stuff along the fence on the inside, you know.
That would work for erosion and also promote butterflies in color.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where Lisa's talking about that we, went in and removed some of the foliage or the vines off the fence, because the majority of the stuff is still there. It could be dying back. But I know the fence behind the school, we had to clean that, right where the gas building is and the bathroom. We had to clean that because of the historical society wanted it cleaned up because it looked bad.
Oh, maybe that's when it happened.
Yeah, there was an old cabbage palm that it wasn't doing nothing. And then an old tree stump and a couple other stuff that we did take them out. But that really wasn't nothing major.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Yes, ma'am, come to the mic.
Number one is, if it would be proper if we needed the right kind of plants for the butterflies to be planted where you're talking, is that Sunrise where you're talking?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I can certainly petition Rotary and see if they could buy some plants to put there. That's one thing. But the second thing is, the University of Florida, I've never been to one of your meetings before, so I don't know what all has transpired in the years. But the University of Florida develops all these, plants for our area where they graft and do all this different stuff. Surely, they would be willing to donate some of these trees. I mean, they're trees that they do this to. Have anybody talked to anybody at University of Florida to see if they have a program already in place where they would provide trees for the cities?
It's news to me, but I think we can explore.
I mean, I certainly would, because, my daughter was very involved with the, when we were growing up and we learned that poem, Under the Spreading Chestnut Tree. Well, all of the chestnut trees died before we were even in grade school. So I don't know why we all learned that, but we did. But the American Chestnut Society, about, 20 years ago at least, started developing a tree that would withstand that plague or whatever that had attacked the other chestnut trees. And they grafted the Japanese chestnut tree 1/16 or something into the new chestnut trees. But anyway, they have developed a whole new American chestnut tree that won't get that disease. And then they had a program, and my daughter was involved. They would go, if you had a piece of land, like in Kentucky, West Virginia, somewhere that had been mined for coal, surface mine, and you would say, I'm offering my land, they would come through Virginia Polytechnic Institute, would come and plant all these trees on it. And I just feel like there are other programs somewhere that will come and plant trees free that are supposed to be in, Central Florida. So if there's anything that I can do to help you pursue that, let me know. But I do think that should be pursued before the city buys one tree.
Thank you. So I guess, Karen, I can start Googling,
Well, we have that guy who comes in, IFAS comes in once a month at the end of the month. He
okay,
was here yesterday. Unfortunately, I wasn't, but I can always give him a call, or my friend Ann who works out there too.
and ask it what
And ask her.
programs we can get.
I can ask either one of them, Julio or Ann.
At Julio.
And Ms. McCoy, I can call the University of Central Florida. What department will that be?
Well, that,
It's a University of Florida, Gainesville.
Oh, Gainesville, okay.
or you can ask IFAS, because they're the ones that are a branch off of University of Florida.
IFAS?
Yeah.
they're part of the University of Florida.
Okay.
They're a
And check
branch,
with them.
and they're right here in Putnam County.
Oh, cool. I'll get with you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
if you all, as a group, decide you would like, say you would like 10 plants or whatever, and let me know, I will take it before the Rotary Board and see if they would approve purchasing them. We probably would not get involved in planting them, because we don't want to dig on city property and deal with that. But we might be able to provide the product.
Okay, thank you.
I did find in my records from January 23, a letter that was also written by Mr. Vito regarding replacement of trees or areas that needed little foliage. It's almost identical to what she has, which means it hasn't been done in, we're pushing a year and a half. So I think it behooves us to go over this again at another meeting and, figure out if there's some good way that maybe we can,
Start working
take
on it.
care of some of it. Some of it that wouldn't require, digging and planting a tree.
Start with the smaller stuff, Pat? Start with the shrubs first?
Start with the shrubs first.
Start with the shrubs.
Or something smaller,
Yeah.
we'll look at it and say we could do this. My thought was, after looking on, the south side of the park, where the tennis courts are, that wonderful green fence, and I said, oh, I wonder how the people feel sitting in their house looking at that 6-foot green fence. So maybe that might be a good start, just for aesthetic purposes. It's so unappetizing, appealing, that whole area of the park is just trees, the rosewood tree was taken out. But like Mr. House said, there's a lot of wires and things in there, you can't just plant what you want, so. Maybe we'll find out from him where the wires are, where we could plant or not. But I think, it might behoove us to check it all out first. Go as individuals on your own time and see what's there. And bring it up at the next meeting, put it on the agenda. And am I correct in understanding that there is everything about the butterfly garden with the 3 groups that are interested is on table? Because there's no grant going out to ask for money. Am I to understand that? Okay. Which doesn't mean we can't do it again.
No,
No, we'd have to wait a whole year.
we'll plan it better. Okay. Anything else, ladies?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting for today.
I second.
Thank you.
Be nice to know what happened with that.
unless she's sick again.
I'm gonna get
Oh,
her.
God, hope not.
Well, she's 85.